Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Snug Wrestling Podcast. It is August. We're starting a new month, and that means that it's SummerSlam weekend. We just got done watching SummerSlam Night 1 into what is going to be an action packed entire month of a crazy pro wrestling calendar in the week of August. But we're kicking off with SummerSlam Night 1. We saw six matches. What was it felt like a pretty quick night one of SummerSlam. And we're going to be covering that tonight with me. The whole entire crew of Snug Wrestling is here with us after a very, very busy weekend. We got Mr. Blood, Toxic, and Tommy here. How are you guys feeling about SummerSlam Night 1? Overall, I thought it was a pretty good kickoff to SummerSlam, but what did you guys think about it?
I thought it was an overall decent show. I think a lot of consensus going into this show was that the entire card didn't feel like it justified two nights this year. Outside of 12 matches, there's maybe four that are really marquee, that are really like must see, and two of them were tonight. I genuinely think everything that happened tonight, I said in predictions, and everything that happened, I said exactly as it happened in predictions. That means the post-match run-ins that happened, the way that certain matches ended happened. It was like I wrote the show. So it was, though entertaining, I couldn't find myself overly excited about it because I started seeing that this match is going every single way to a T that I said it would. So it's not overly exciting if I feel like I basically spoiled it myself, because the writing was on the wall for nearly everything. That being said, very well worked show. But I don't even know if I could call it extremely predictable, because there were matches that could have gone plenty of ways, but I don't know if I'm clairvoyant. I know I'm tired. I'm in Virginia, for those of you who can't see me. I'm at a convention here, an anime gaming media convention. I'm one of the celebrity guests. Had a great time today, so I am feeling good. Did autographs, meet and greets, Q&A on a panel today. But I'm also tired. Mr. Blood has slept 3 hours in 35 hours. So I'm very tired and having the second part of the show tomorrow. But other than that, I think the card, I'm going to call it serviceable. It was great, but I don't have overexcitement for it because it was literally exactly the way, bar for bar, that I said it was going to go.
As one that enjoys their sleep very well, Blood, I feel bad for you. I could not work on 3 hours of sleep. The card tonight, it was good. I feel like there's only one match that I can say it's not negative, but it's all like downside. It's not really downside. It's just one that I have least to say about. But I enjoyed the show.
I also enjoyed the show. Overall, I cannot fully pick a match of the night between Nick Aldis and Gunther and Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi. I just can't. They both have their great things. Nick Aldis with the storytelling, and then Brock with the physicality, but we'll get to both of those here in a bit. But once again, we did end up getting that massive return that has happened every single year for the past 4 years that we will also get to later on.
Well, they started off with the WWE Women's World Championship match, Liv Morgan versus Io Sky. This is Liv Morgan's first title defense in over 100 days, which a lot of people claim that that's criminal. How is it possible that Liv Morgan is barely retaining her title or defending her title for the very, very first time? And Triple H, before SummerSlam, made a comment that he believed that Liv Morgan versus Io Sky is potentially a match that can steal the show. So I went into this match with really, really high hopes, and they delivered. I thought for an opening match, I thought they gave us a lot of good stuff in this match, man. It was competitive. There was a lot of back and forth here. Both of these women pulled all the stops. We even had some shenanigans with Roxanne and Raquel getting involved. I think Io Sky at one point hit Liv's finisher, false finish. Liv kicked out. Um, yeah, we had a little bit of everything in this match. Maybe I was just riding in like the hype of SummerSlam, but I thought this match was a lot better than I expected. Liv Morgan retained, which I wasn't really too surprised by that. I'm glad Liv Morgan retained. I think that was like most of our predictions when it came to this match. The right person won in this match. It was fun. It was exciting. For an opening match overall, I thought this was a great way to kick off SummerSlam.
I'm honestly in the complete opposite direction of you. The match, well worked. I think it was just as fine as their first one. I didn't think there was much special about this match at all, to be honest with you. I thought it was worked the same way the first one was, just other than this time they did not tell the story of Io's knee. But I thought that this match was as good as the first one. I didn't think it exceeded any kind of expectation. I didn't think it was over the moon. No pun intended towards Io. Knew the running was going to happen. Just overall solid opener, but in my opinion, right person won. We all knew it was going to be Liv. I called Liv, and I didn't need to see another Io title reign in a year and a half, a third one that is. I love Io, like I've said before, but she's just not. She is main championship material, but to me, it's her presentation and her booking that they always put around her when she is holding that title that I'm not ever looking forward to seeing again, because it's uninspired every time. I thought Liv needs to keep the title going. I don't know if they're holding their breath for Stephanie Vaquer to come back. But yeah, I mean, there was nothing special about this match for me. And honestly, because Roxanne, and even though I said it was a possibility, but Roxanne still not turning, there not being anything else to add, no Stephanie return to fight off the numbers game, nothing like that at all. I was just like, okay, next match.
As the match started, I actually figured I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I thought I would have just not liked it, but they kicked off the weekend. I don't know, it was just a great match. I didn't even expect this match to start it off, but the stage, before I get back into the match, the stage was simple. It was great. It just screams SummerSlam. But I liked Liv's gear, the pink, red, purple, black, and white, and what looked like blue. It all worked very nicely together. Um, I feel like they thought and worked this match very great. It had a lot of great spots. Like one in specific that I liked was the code breaker to Io when Io was just getting back in the ring from the moonsault to the outside. That was a good one, but I like this a lot more. And Michael Cole pointed this out: the suspense and drama after every kick out. And I'm not disappointed that Liv retained, but if she's gonna keep this, she needs to defend a lot more for me to be happy. Um, I'm one of those people that are mad that she's not defending a lot, because her first reign with it, with the Women's World Championship, was great, but this one's not. I'm also not disappointed that Stephanie didn't come back. We don't know where she is in recovery process, so it makes sense. I didn't even expect her to come back in this match, but I thought I was better than I thought it would have been.
Yeah, Tox, the reason why that stage was so simple is because they waited until yesterday to build it. They legitimately waited until yesterday. But overall, it was a great match. It was a great technical match in itself. Here's my only problem now. Roxanne is the only girl there without a title. Let the implosion of the Judgment Day one final time begin. Because let's be honest, that is exactly where this is going to go. And in the post-show, Liv Morgan chose a very particular shirt to wear for this. It was a shirt of Rhea Ripley being all upset from SummerSlam 2 years ago. Back when Liv stole everything from Rhea Ripley. So naturally, with the fact that she beat good old Rhea Ripley's best friend in Io Sky, that was the perfect little punch in there. Although I do not think that this is their last match, unfortunately.
The second match of SummerSlam was a 6-man tag team match. The Bloodline versus Solo Sikoa, Royce Keys, and LA Knight. Now, there was a lot of good stuff leading up to this match that I was really, really interested in. However, none of the things that they teased that I thought they were going to go with actually happened in this match. So I can't sit here and tell you guys like, oh, I knew this was going to happen, right? Because they went with the complete opposite of what I expected. Now, one thing that really stood out to me was seeing Royce Keys in this stage wrestling at a WWE event at a stage like SummerSlam. I thought, wow, this is amazing. I love seeing Royce Keys in this position. Wrestling top guys like the Usos, Jey Uso, Jimmy, Jacob, LA Knight. It was a great look for him, and I was like riding high on it. And then there came a spot. There was a corner spot where Royce Keys was trying to pick up Jey Uso on the top rope for like a sidewalk slam or something. And he couldn't pick him up. It took him a minute to pick him up. And finally he did it. That was a little disappointing. He was finally able to do it. But it was still a really good showcasing for Royce Keys. LA Knight got the pin over Jey Uso in this match, which I thought was really interesting. I'm pretty sure that's going to come into play later on Monday Night Raw. LA Knight, I'm sure, is going to be like, hey, Jay, I pinned you at SummerSlam. But I seriously thought that Solo Sikoa was going to join the Bloodline and turn on his team and turn heel and all that good stuff, but it was the complete opposite. Solo Sikoa pretty much proved LA Knight wrong and was like, I told you I was going to have your back. I told you we were going to defeat the Bloodline. And they even had a little brotherhood moment at the end of the match where LA Knight hugged Solo Sikoa and it got a huge pop. Solo Sikoa got over in this match, and LA Knight, Solo, and Royce Keys were standing tall at the end of the night. And I got to be honest, I did not see this going this way. But what did you guys think about this match?
I thought the match was pretty solid. Again, run of the mill. It's a 6-man tag in WWE, and they had a couple of spots that planned out. One spot that particularly, unfortunately, was a little bit more rough around the edges. But as I had hoped, as I had said, LA Knight got the pin because I feel like he needed it more than anybody in this match. We're really hoping they're rebuilding LA Knight properly. Hopefully finally listening to the fans, trying to get him back to that position he was in 3 years ago. And hopefully, again, this being a solid, run to have him go up into, the Money in the Bank match and hopefully win this year, because I feel like he's been close to winning twice now, and the fans have, championed him winning that twice now. I think that'd be the loudest pop he's ever gotten if he won Money in the Bank. And, one can only hope that if, let's just say hypothetically, he did win the Money in the Bank contract this year, that he would hopefully cash in on Roman Reigns if Roman is still champion. And I think that would finally solidify LA Knight's story. It'd be full circle, screwed over by the bloodline in a match against Roman, 3.5 years ago now. And then, to win the Money in the Bank and then go on to cash in and take that same title off of him. I think that'd be a great story, a great feather in LA's cap. But I'd like to highlight that I think that the true highlight of this match is Solo Sikoa. I mean, he stole the show. He was very over. He was very, very engaged with the fans. The fans responded to him every single time. If it wasn't running Jey Uso's entrance back, much to Jey Uso's chagrin, it was him mocking Jacob Fatu's little walk, strut, shaking thing. Like, Solo was hamming it up. The only thing I wish they would do with Solo is, I like that he's enigmatic. I like that he's charismatic. I like that people react to him, and reaction is everything. Reaction is the whole business. It's how you know you're doing right. But I do wish that they would just book him a little tougher in the ring. When he was the enforcer Solo, he was a force to be reckoned with. He was someone that even Roman Reigns himself was afraid of. So you can keep the personality with him. That's fine. But I would very much like to see Solo at least get some of that edge back when he's in the matches in the ring. Because at one point you could argue, had Jacob been in WWE earlier when he was still an enforcer for the bloodline, you could argue that Solo probably would have been booked to be as tough and as much of a threat as Jacob back then. So why not do that now? Remember who Solo is. He literally squashed John Cena, for Christ's sakes. So it's like, where's that aggression?
First off, the Usos and Fatu's entrance was sick. I know nothing about Gears of War, but it did look pretty cool. Even if it was just the one thing in the middle, the red Titantron in the all black gear and Jacob Fatu's mask, it still looked cool. I also liked how Solo, since losing the MFTs, and just it's like he's being himself, a new version of Solo that I really enjoy. Just him being goofy, him being like wanting to react with the fans like he didn't get to do when being brought up to the main roster as the silent enforcer of Roman Reigns, and thinking that was him. He was all silent, quiet. He was a force to be reckoned with, like Blood said. And this is him now. I think it is a very well improvement that he has gotten. I also thought it was interesting, something that Michael Cole pointed out on commentary, that Jimmy Uso hasn't lost a SummerSlam match until now, which good for him. I think Royce Keys had an amazing SummerSlam debut, except for that one spot. I was kind of confused on what was happening, but yeah. Jimmy Uso, I think he got the MVP for the Bloodline. He just had a very great showing, and then the other team, Royce Keys or LA Knight, because they both also had great showings. Solo, honestly, it's debatable that any three on that team could get MVP because they all had great showings and they were all just there. They had a lot of energy in the ring, even LA Knight, even though he didn't get a lot. But the one thing that did scare me was Jey Uso's sell or landing on the BFT, which, I mean, kindly, it looked like it was mainly on LA's because Jay wasn't up all the way. But I mean, that's just what it looked like to me. Because LA got the pin, I didn't have a good record. I'm starting SummerSlam off with 0-2.
Overall, when it comes to the Bloodlines entrance, it's Gears of War. My giant problem is I would like less first-person shooter plugs on my wrestling show, please. Because I don't want to see that shit on my wrestling show. but overall, match was decent. I actually really, really liked it. But Triple H said this in regards to the 6-woman tag, but I'm still going to apply it here. He said that when one person is over as over can be, that he will gladly put them into the spotlight. But here's my problem. What about LA Knight for the past year and a half? That's the biggest problem here, is the fact that LA Knight has been shafted to the back for the past year and a half. He has yet to be fully in the spotlight, even when he was over as over can be a year and a half ago. So there's that. So hopefully this man wins the Money in the Bank contract.
Gunther versus Nick Aldis. It's kind of crazy to think about that. You know, Nick Aldis, a former TNA World Champion, former NWA World Champion, he gets signed to the WWE, and he gets signed as a general manager. And, you know, there was a lot of people that were kind of confused by that, because they were like, man, this is Nick Aldis. He still got it. He's still in great shape. He can still go. The WWE is going to put him in a general manager position. What the fuck, right? And we finally get to see him wrestle. Nick Aldis wrestled for the very first time on a WWE match. But what better way to have your first ever match in the WWE than a big stage like SummerSlam? Not only that, but Mickie James was ringside, Nick Aldis' wife. And he's wrestling one of the top stars in WWE today, Gunther. And he was in great shape. He looked good. Nick Aldis proved that he still got it. He had one hell of a fight. He took Gunther to... I haven't seen Gunther get manhandled like that in a long time. I mean, Nick Aldis was all over Gunther. He was picking him up like he was like light work. Like scoop slams and suplexes and all kinds of shit like nothing. And it's kind of weird for me to sit here and say Gunther was like the smaller guy in this match. Gunther was the one that was fighting underneath. Nick Aldis just looked like a monster compared to Gunther, because Gunther's a big dude. I'm not used to seeing that. I know Gunther has been defeated in the past, right? But nothing like this. I haven't seen nothing like this in a long time. So I thought that was good. Gunther defeated Nick Aldis with the sleeper. But now I'm wondering, like, what's going to happen with Nick Aldis? Is this a one-off? I don't want this to be a one-off. I mean, I think Nick Aldis proved that he can still go, and I would like to see him wrestle more in the WWE, but they didn't really tell us. They didn't really give us answers about that. So I guess we will see what happens with Nick Aldis.
The only word that comes to mind for me when it comes to Aldis and Gunther is validation. Nick Aldis was on Chris Van Vliet's podcast this week talking about how he had chased throughout his career different moments of validation to help him know that he was going the right direction. He was doing the right things, to even at a point in TNA where Sting himself told him in the back that they should put the title on him. And that's why one of the reasons that Aldis even uses the clover leaf is because it's technically the Scorpion Deathlock. When it comes down to it, I thought Aldis came off great here. I thought he looked really good. And I feel like, and I hope that he had reached that validation that he was seeking. In that interview with Chris Van Vliet, at the last 6 minutes of it, Aldis breaks down and cries. And I mean, cries, because Chris asked him, at the end of all this, do you think you're going to find what you're looking for? Is this, what you wanted? And Aldis is just very genuine and very bare in that interview. And he says, yes, he just starts crying, and he's like, it's validation. He goes, I worked so hard for this, and this is my one shot. This is my one shot, and I just want it to go the right way. I just want to do it right. And I feel like he accomplished that tonight. And I thought it was really poignant having his kid and, Mickey, good old Mickey there in the front row. And I thought it was beautiful. I thought not only did he get that validation, the fans made sure that he knew it. They were so loud for him. They came alive for him. At the end, they gave him a standing ovation. He got "You deserve it" chants during the match. He got them "You still got it" you still got it chants after the match and during the match. And then them coming in the ring with him was beautiful. Having his wife raise his hand was beautiful. I'm over the moon about this. I thought Aldis looked fantastic, and he wrestled fantastic, and he worked fantastic. I'm so glad that WWE acknowledged his accomplishments from TNA. I was annoyed they did not acknowledge MLW. That kind of ticked me off, because when his name graphic came up, it said former NXT World Heavyweight Champion, 2-time former TNA Tag Champions, and then it said first ever match in WWE, and I'm like, he was a champion not MLW, sorry, NWA. He was NWA, right? He was the NWA heavyweight champion. So it's like he had other accolades. I don't know if NWA has a working relationship with AEW. Maybe that's why they didn't mention it. But I thought he looked like $1 million, and genuinely from the bottom of my heart, it was very beautiful to watch, very poignant to see a man finally reach the last goal, the last dream he had with his family present. That's what wrestling is all about. And I loved every second of it.
Snug, they did give us an answer on the post show. Nick Aldis was handing his letter of resignation to Triple H, and Triple H said that he respected Aldis and what he did. He got in the ring and he settled it like how they do in WWE. So then he just ripped up the letter of resignation and said that he is appointed back to SmackDown GM. So yeah, it's a one-off. But as Aldis was making his entrance, I kept thinking back to the Chris Van Vliet episode he did when Aldis was saying he didn't want to let anyone down, and this is his one shot. But if you thought he was gonna have ring rust, Aldis wrestled like ring rust was barely there for him. Aldis like it. I don't even have words for this. It was like it was barely there for this. At least as what I saw. He wrestled like he's been wrestling in secret for the 3 years that he didn't have a match that's like on anywhere. But I enjoyed this match. It was a very technical match to start off with, but it reminded me of a 5 times better version of Pat McAfee and Gunther. This is what this reminded me. I'm glad that Aldis was able to get offense against Gunther, and those are the kind of Gunther matches that I like. I mean, y'all know I hate this man with a passion, but I mean, there's still some matches I like with him, and it's the ones that his opponents get offense, and like Damian and Jay. Those are opponents that I like for Gunther, but I feel like people doubted Aldis way too much. This was a very great and beautiful match, and I think they put it together and worked it very well. Unfortunately, Aldis lost, but he had nothing to be ashamed of, and it brings my prediction record to 1-2.
Yeah, and I'd also like to note that Aldis did show a little bit of ring rust in the beginning, and I could tell that he got gassed within like 6 minutes. But that happens to everybody when they return to the ring. Even Seth Rollins in Unreal said his first match back with Gunther, he was gassed in like minutes of the match at WrestleMania. But with Aldis, with this, I think it's important to note that like Gunther himself at the end of the match praised Aldis. Gunther literally was sitting on the apron and looked over at somebody and just shouted. He said something like, he gave me way more than I thought he was going to, and he did a
This
great
was
job.
harder than I thought, he said.
Yeah, and he said, "This is harder than I thought it was going to be. I have to admit it. I have to give that to him. He put on one hell of a match." And then he literally like gave Aldis his flowers. And I think that's important, because if you know, the entire point of selling a match in a promo is putting over your opponent while you're also selling the match, while also telling them why they won't win. It's a very hard thing to do if you don't have the cadence for it. I think it's also equally important that twice tonight, in two separate matches, this one being one of them, that we had an opponent, a heel, make sure that everybody knew that the babyface was incredible as an opponent on the other side. And I think that's very important.
Yeah, this match, there's a reason why it's tied for match of the night for me with this and the main event. Because overall, it was like, this thing was a work of art. It was a masterpiece storytelling wise, because of everything with Nick Aldis. In fact, Gunther even said on the post show that not only was this battle harder than he thought it was going to be, but he also absolutely gave him his flowers when he said that when he took off that jacket, Gunther was absolutely impressed with everything that he saw with Nick Aldis. And the story with it was absolutely phenomenal. Nick Aldis wrestled in there like there was nothing. Like, he still had everything in the tank. And I really, really wish that we could have seen more out of this before he was reinstated. But unfortunately, this is a one-off. But I even said mid-match that if I was wrong and Nick Aldis won, I would not be mad at it whatsoever, simply because of everything that went into this match and how much of a damn masterpiece this was.
There is one thing that I found funny in this match, and that was that the sun looked like it kept trying to get Nick Aldis's eyes for a good part of this match. There was the sun beaming down on the mat multiple times. And I really think that Aldis would have been great had he gone with the sponsor of this episode of Snug Wrestling, Aquila. If you're looking to get rid of your flimsy sunglasses that look the same as everyone else's, check out Aquila. These are handcrafted, limited-run shades straight out of Los Angeles, made from 50% recycled materials like plant-based cellulose acetate and titanium. They've got UV-blocking sun lenses, blue light options, and even prescription lenses, all built to last and look clean. Plus, Aquila's serious about sustainability. They're a member of the nonprofit organization 1% for the Planet. And that means 1% of every single sale is donated to reputable environmental organizations around the globe. And because you listen to Snug Wrestling, you get an exclusive 10% off any order with the code SNUG at checkout. That's SNUG, SNUG, at checkout. And full transparency, when you use that code, we do earn a small commission, but it helps keep the show rolling and gets you top-tier eyewear in return. So go to aquila.la and level up your look responsibly. Again, go to aquila.la, AKILA.LA, and type in the code SNUG, SNUG, at checkout.
And then we're going to move on. We're trucking on to a 6-woman tag team match. The Fatal Influence face the Bella Twins and Paige. Now, I got to give props to JC Jane for the phenomenal homage paid to Shawn Michaels. JC Jane's gear was a spot-on Shawn Michaels impersonation. And I thought that was really great because JC Jane just came from NXT. So I'm pretty sure, Shawn Michaels has taught JC Jane a lot of things that she knows about pro wrestling nowadays. So I thought it was a really nice gesture of JC Jane to pay homage to Shawn Michaels with her gear tonight on SummerSlam. And they won the match. They defeated the legendary tag team, the Bella Twins and Paige. This is the second time in a row that the Fatal Influence gets a big win over the Bella Twins. So I thought that was great. They are the tag team champions. So the WWE is really putting a whole lot of stock on the Fatal Influence, which I mean, I'm all for that, you know. But at the end of the match, we did get that big heel turn that we were expecting. Nikki Bella, not just Nikki Bella, but also Brie Bella too. They attacked Paige. Both of them jumped on Paige, attacked her after the match, after their big L. And now we have a heel Bella Twins, and we have a very defeated Paige.
Yeah, it was the heel turn that I knew it was coming after this match. The only difference between that and what I said on predictions was I could see the Bella Twins turning on her after the match if she got pinned, which she did. And I said, but I could also see them turning on her if they won and they kick her out of the group. But it was the first prediction I made where they turned on her because she ate the pin. I thought the match was decent. I thought it was a little rough in areas, as in, a little too snug for my taste. And I don't mean the pun in the podcast. There's, the what looked to be like a cannonball roll against Nikki or Brie Bella when she was against the steps that genuinely thought they took her shoulder out of socket. I thought JC Jane looked great here. I think Fatal Influence were put over in great fashion. Again, solidifying that they can beat Hall of Famers and legends. That's a good thing when you're just fresh on the main roster. Retaining the tag titles is a smart move for them too, because it allows them to keep building their stock as champions. It wasn't for tag title gold. I apologize. It's a 6-woman tag. But I still stand by my point that them getting to continue as champions regardless, while still holding wins and new wins over this group of legends, and I think it's a good thing for their career. I think the finish looked great. I thought JC Jane's discus forearm smash was fantastic. I thought Paige sold the shit out of it. The way that she landed perfectly so she could get a jackknife for a pin, I thought was amazing. And I think it worked out. The right girls won. And I also got to say, I think the longer that JC Jane's in the main roster, the more I really like her charisma. I like her energy. I like that pep in her step when she comes to the ring. I like that she's just very, 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 very in gimmick, in character, and she's feeling every bit of the moment. You can tell by the way that she comes down to the ring and when she stands on the apron. But I think this was a very smart idea, making sure we're putting that new talent over. And again, I've said it before for the last few weeks, that's the entire point of getting these legends, to come back and do these schedules, is it's time to give back to the business. And despite how people feel about the Bella's wrestling ability or what they've really done for the business versus someone like Charlotte or a Paige or a Becky or a Bailey, their stock still goes very far in a career like these young ladies in Fatal Influence. So I think this was successful in that margin. I think it checked all the boxes.
I like the Bellas and Paige's matching gear, like one little detail in to represent all of them. I thought that was cool. Like I thought, I didn't care for this match. It not because of any of the women in the match. They all did great, but I just didn't care for it. It's one of those matches that for no reason you just don't care. I did like Laney Reed's sell when Nikki got in the ring and just hit her like with a knee. That looked really great. I think the other two are starting to grow on me because JC Jane, I like her. Fallon, she was a little bit, but Laney, no. I think they're more, the other two that aren't JC are growing on me a lot more. Um, Laney is showing in this match was great, and she's the MVP for Fatal Influence. But I don't really know. Oh wait, no. Brie was the MVP on the other side because that cannonball she took that looked like that shit hurt. And yeah. But the turn was obvious. It was happening. You could tell as Nikki's body language. You could tell her or tell. But because Fatal Influence won, That put me at 1-3.
Overall, it was a very interesting match, to say the least. It's very, very clear that they are leading to a feud between Nikki Bella and Paige, because as Nikki walked away, her response was, "Lesson learned, don't ever take my spot." So there is that, but unfortunately, the Bellas cannot catch a break because Triple H did, in fact, confirm Brie Bella is injured. Right after the match, she was taken to the hospital for a few scans. So, no telling how bad that is, but unfortunately, she is injured. So, odds are she will be taken out for a bit.
Who?
Brie Bella.
It was probably that cannonball spot into the steps that I mentioned, because it looked like she got nailed extremely, like in the shoulder, like right here. And I saw, if you look at Brie's face back at that match when that hit happened, that looked like real deep pain. She screamed really loud, and she was just like cradling that shoulder, and she was just like she did the lip bite, like the like this, and I was like, oh, I think she got hurt, and I had a feeling, but thank you for confirming. But yeah, I think it's the shoulder for sure.
So then this is probably going to lead into a one-on-one. If hopefully not, fingers crossed, Brie Bella is legitimately injured. This is probably going to lead to a one-on-one with Paige and Nikki Bella. But if Brie Bella hopefully is not injured, then my only question is, Paige is going to need some backup. Who are they going to team Paige up with to face the Bella twins?
Rhea Ripley, I wish, but no, she's women's world. You know, I mean, unless for some crazy reason she loses to whomever is going to win this ladder match tomorrow. Which I just don't see happening. They're gonna, Rhea is money. Rhea is marketable. They're gonna try to maximize that as much as possible, unless they're gonna, be like, fuck it, it's the later half of the year. Let's just experiment and see if we can put it on Chelsea Green for a little while, which, high hopes for tomorrow, really hoping. But that being said, I got a feeling it's going to Charlotte, but I would be lying if I didn't say, though, Charlotte is my GOAT. I would kill to see Chelsea be that interim champion. Like I said in predictions, I think that's the way to do it if you were ever going to put it on Chelsea. No, she can go over in a match that doesn't require anybody looking bad in defeat. So, but yeah, no, rest up, Brie, and wish you a speedy recovery.
And Snug, when it comes to Paige's backup, hopefully, I got 3 words for you. Light it up.
Oh, they got history.
Good.
They got history.
That would be good. I like that.
It would also reignite the feud between AJ and Nikki. That would be good.
That's a good one.
That's a great call there.
That's really good. Yeah. Toxic, any predictions on that?
I'm agreeing with Tommy. AJ Lee, it's the only right answer, at least in my head. That's the only one that I see making sense, because, I mean, they're 4 women from the Divas era. So that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
I like
it. Not to mention, it would go full circle with the fact that when Paige debuted, it was AJ Lee that she took the Divas title off of, like, day 1.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. All right. Let's go on to the WWE Undisputed Championship match between Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. Before the match, they played the trailer for Street Fighter. I think this is the first time that they've revealed this big trailer for this big movie that I'm really looking forward to, if I'm being honest. And they're in Minnesota, right? The home of the Minnesota Vikings, which, their colors are purple and yellow, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But CM Punk showed up with a green and yellow jacket, which I'm pretty sure those are not the right colors to be wearing over there in Minnesota. But it's CM Punk. He does what the fuck he wants. And I mean, I really enjoyed the match. It was a classic fucking wrestling match between two greats, two of the top stars of the company in WWE, but it kind of seemed like the fans in the arena weren't too into this, unfortunately, up until Randy Orton showed up. And Tommy, your prediction came to reality where you said it's SummerSlam. There's usually some big return in SummerSlam, at least. History will tell you that someone always returns at SummerSlam, and it was Randy Orton. Randy Orton hit Cody Rhodes with an RKO. CM Punk took advantage. CM Punk retained and defeated Cody Rhodes with a little help from Randy Orton, but I don't think CM Punk saw that. I don't think CM Punk was aware, quote unquote, that Randy Orton rushed in there and hit an RKO out of nowhere. But I absolutely loved everything about this match. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I thought the match was fantastic. You know, we fantasy book matches like this all the time. Hey, you know, Cody versus who, Punk versus who, title on the line. We got that tonight. For a lot of people, this is a dream match for all the right reasons. They wrestled a great technical, solid opener. Part of the middle was technical. They took the middle half to really start doing their spots with the tables and jumping off the turn or off the top turnbuckle. And for once, that Randy Savage elbow drop homage missed. Because he always hits it. Punk always hits it on people. Then the third ladder of the match was, you know, near fall, rep bump. You know how it goes. And in predictions, I said I wanted Punk to retain because there's so much more you can do with that title. And I think the WWE is wise to the fact that fans are getting stale on Cody and they're going to cool him off a bit, which is perfect. Put him in a feud with no title against Orton. But I also said in predictions that, it's been a while and I was literally said, I could see Randy or Kevin interfering because the last time we saw them both, they were heels against who? Cody Rhodes. And this was a great way to protect Cody in the finish. Because they're gonna protect the Golden Boy because there's two Golden Boys and Roman's on the other brand. And when it comes down to it, this was smart. I also like that when right before Randy coming in and Cody hits the crossroads on Punk, I like that there was no visual pin when the ref was down because it also protects Punk from looking weak, like it was a fluke that he retained. Instead, the crossroads forced him to roll out of the ring, and that's when Randy came out and RKO'd Cody, and Punk didn't see it. So it means Punk gets to, win while having the plausible deniability of, well, I didn't see him do that to you. But also it protects him in the fact of Cody didn't get the visual pin, so fans can't say that Cody should have won. And I thought it was very well set up, and it was a really good, solid finish. Great match.
I love the Guile from Street Fighter inspired gear. This makes me wonder if Roman is going to have some inspired gear. I always forget the name of the character that he plays.
Akuma.
That. I wonder if he's going to get inspired gear from him tomorrow. But, I mean, normally when Roman changes something in his gear, it's just his glove and boots. So, anyways, I liked how the energy was high in the beginning and middle of the match. It was just a very enjoyable match. It was entertaining for me. I liked how it wasn't one person in control and then the other one gains it and keeps it for a while. They were both keeping and losing control in the match, which kept me on the edge of my seat the entire match to figure out what they were gonna do next, what move, what submission, where they were going to target, because I mean Punk's knee, and then I think Cody's arm, something like that. But the spot where Punk does the elbow through the table and misses, that scared the shit out of me because he landed foot first. So yeah, but I can't believe Punk attempted to do a moonsault. I mean, it might have just been the way I was watching it that made it look like he messed up, but it looked like he messed up on that, and he knew he messed up because he was smiling when Cody kicked out of the pin. But like I said, it might have been the quality of where I was watching it from. But I knew something was happening when the ref went down. I didn't expect it to be Randy. I thought it would be literally anyone else to screw Cody. But Punk winning not only made my score for predictions 2-3, but broke Cody's win streak at SummerSlam. He won 23 against Brock Lesnar, 24 against Solo Sikoa, and 25 against John Cena. And there's your fun fact of the night.
Yeah, when it comes to returns, it goes as follows throughout the past 5 years. 2021 was Brock Lesnar, 22 was Bayley, 23 was Jimmy, 24 was Roman, and last year was Brock, and now we've got good old Randy Orton to add to that list. I knew that was going to happen. But yes, Snug, you are correct. That is not the NFL colors for Minnesota, but that is a former NHL team's colors for Minnesota. That is the Minnesota North Stars, in which they put over on commentary during it, which is also why he's got that 20 on his back representing the 20 years that he's been wrestling. So there's that. But I say that Charles Robinson did give a little bit too much leeway here. Like, they were outside the ring for a easy 10 count. There's no doubt about that so many times. But there you go. You've got Randy Orton coming in, one GTS later, and Punk, fatality. That's what we've got on good old Cody Rhodes there. So happy that Punk did retain. Although he did say on the post show that as much as he would love to go up against Finn Balor, he doesn't want to fight another friend right now. So who does he hopes wins? He hopes Sami Zayn wins. That way he could go after him and knock that little smile off his face. That's who he wants to win. So overall, tomorrow night, we'll see how that goes.
Absolutely looking forward to that. The main event of SummerSlam Night 1 was the Hell in a Cell, Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar, and I was really surprised by that because I thought for sure the main event was going to be the WWE Undisputed Championship match that we just talked about, but nay, it's the Hell in a Cell match. And, one would think they're in Minnesota, and we expected this match to be Brock Lesnar's final match. Maybe he was going to put up his career on the line, but that didn't happen. And then there was also a lot of fans that were, like, criticizing Oba Femi and the booking of this, because it's like, Oba Femi gave up an entire title shot for this Hell in a Cell match, right? But it happened. This Hell in a Cell match went down, and it's Oba and it's Brock. It's two powerhouses, so like this, and it's a Hell in a Cell, so it's like this match was not gonna be like anything like it's not gonna be the best wrestling match of the night. This was just gonna be a fucking brawl. This was gonna be a fight, right? And Brock Lesnar took Oba to Suplex City, fucking gave him all kinds of F5s, and Oba Femi kicked out of everything. Brock Lesnar ripped the ring apron off, the mat. He ripped it open and then slammed Oba Femi on the exposed wooden ring, and Oba kicked out. And then Oba Femi hit a big power bomb on Brock Lesnar and won. So Oba Femi won the rubber match. This is a third match. Oba Femi got 2-1 over Brock Lesnar. But after the match, Brock Lesnar put Oba Femi over, raised his hand, and even cut a little promo, which is rare to see from Brock Lesnar. This is the future. Brock Lesnar hugged Oba Femi in the middle of the ring. Paul Heyman shook Oba Femi's hand in front of the whole world. And both Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar put Oba Femi over at the end of the match with a show of great sportsmanship, which I thought was lovely. And if anyone is doubting Oba Femi at this point, the WWE is basically telling us, hey, Oba Femi is the future of the WWE.
I don't know if I'm going to wind up being in the minority here. I thought this match was extremely underwhelming, and I was pretty disappointed by it. It genuinely just reinforced to me that this entire match, the Hell in the Cell stipulation, was just a cash grab. It was just a way for them to move tickets with intrigue, and the Cell barely played a factor at all. Yeah, Lesnar got hit into the Cell through a table. Okay. He got slammed on the floor outside, which looked like it genuinely might have injured him. Like he looked like he busted a rib or something, the way that he was swelling up. And then they barely touched the cage for the rest of the show, the rest of the match. Almost everything else was chairs in the ring, ripping off the pad. The tombstone on the pad was a high spot. It was really good. But then even with Oba hitting the fall from grace, he literally stops midair before using or hitting it on Brock and just hits it right off of the pads instead of hitting him on the actual fucking wood, which I was waiting for. So in that regard, I thought the finish was lackluster. Oba also didn't even raise him up for the last ride lift before he hit the fall from grace. So it was just a regular sit-out power bomb, so it wasn't even as impactful. And then I thought the championing of Oba after the match, though it's great in theory and great on paper, I thought it was extremely forced because Brock had already left and then came all the way back. And then he says some nice thing. Then Oba tries to get out of the ring. Then he tells Oba to get back in the ring twice. And like, oh, here I'm the past, you're the future, yada, yada. I thought it was extremely, extremely underwhelming for a Hell in a Cell match. When you really think about what that entails in that match, I thought, wow, so we used the Cell and the name of the Cell just to move tickets. And I thought, yeah, okay, that was absolute fucking horseshit.
As the Cell was lowering, I was getting my hopes up, wondering, will either of them get busted open, hoping that they went to the top of the Cell. Anyways, but that would have made the match 10 times better. I liked the suspense between the entrances, the long pause. It gave the match the vibe it needed. It gave the match the vibe it needed to. The match started like their others, getting straight into it. No lockup or anything. It's Hell in a Cell. They're gonna do actual wrestling and then a little bit of the hardcore stuff. That's the main thing people tune into Hell in a Cell for. But I didn't expect Brock to rip the canvas and expose the boards for the tombstone. In case those that don't believe the ring is a trampoline or whatever the fuck they think, there you go. There's that. But it felt underwhelming, like Blood said. Their Mania match, it was like their Mania match. It was hyped up to be almost like a war, and then just ended like that. It should have been longer, but I still enjoyed it, and I finished up the night 3-3. 3 right, 3 wrong.
I ended off the night 5-1. The only one I got wrong was a 6-woman tag. So, but overall, Oba got sent to Suplex City and somehow survived a tombstone pile driver onto the exposed 2x4s, in which I was shaking by the end of this match because I'm like, holy shit, this match is insane with everything that went through it. But Oba says that he wasn't expecting the embrace that Brock Lesnar did, and he wasn't expecting any of it. I think at this point, Brock Lesnar's gone. He's put his respect to Oba Femi. He has absolutely put Oba Femi over. He has made it like completely clear that he has passed the torch to Oba Femi as the next big thing. But overall, when it comes to Oba, I can tell you right now what fans want. When CM Punk, no, Toxic, actually, you could say Roman Reigns, but here's the thing. During the post-show for CM Punk, fans were chanting Oba. So people want CM Punk versus Oba Femi for that World Heavyweight title, for that Undisputed title. That's what they want. That's what people want. And honestly, I'm with it. But overall, you've got Brock Lesnar over here putting over Oba Femi in every possible way. Even saying, he's the future of the company. I'm the past. And I think that's his way of saying, y'all, I'm out. I'm retired now. Just to fully say that he's finally passed the torch to the right man, even though the only man other than Oba Femi that he has embraced like that was Cody Rhodes right before Cody finished the story with Roman Reigns for his first Undisputed title reign.
Wow. Very, very interesting. Yeah, I guess I was always expecting Oba to go after Roman, but if Oba goes after CM Punk, I mean, I would be down to see that as well. That's some good stuff there. But yeah, that was SummerSlam Night 1. I think we got a lot of questions answered after this SummerSlam, but we also have a lot of questions that we need answering. So maybe we'll get some answers at SummerSlam Night 2, which we will be covering as well, like we did tonight. And yeah, thanks, fellas, for your review of this SummerSlam Night 1. We will be back again tomorrow night to see what goes down on night 2. But until then, and because Mr. Blood, he had to leave us a little bit sooner than later, Tommy, if you would please do the honors and take us home.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was this episode of the Snug Wrestling Podcast where we went through night 1 of SummerSlam. Mark your calendars for tomorrow night around the same time as tonight as we go through SummerSlam Night 2. You can also catch us every Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday, except for tomorrow, for Monday Night Raw directly after the show, NXT's review on Wednesday next day, and normally Sunday being for Friday Night SmackDown. But as I have stated, you are not getting a Friday Night SmackDown review this week as we will be going through Night 2. There's also that Thursday one-on-one with Mr. Blood with our glorious leader Edgar Snug on TikTok Live as they go through current and relevant wrestling topics along with going through your fan questions. You can get your merch at tpublic.com/snug_wrestling. That is TEE public.com/snug_wrestling. Stay safe, stay savage, and stay Snug and Toxic. That was one time for the one time. Blood, get some sleep tonight because you got a busy day tomorrow, as you've told us. That was 4 letters.
4 letters.
1 word.
1 word.
Ah.
Yeet.